What was your welcome to Kansas moment? I mean, we all have ours. We ask everyone who comes on the podcast, but when was that, either that first practice, first play that you were like, okay, things are a little different here?
It was the first meeting, man. I tell people, uh, that first meeting when we all walk in, we all get on campus, and Coach Self just keep it right real with you. Like, I don't care what you did last year. I don't care what you think you are. I don't care what you think you're gonna do. Like, this is what I do. This is how we win. And if you listen to that, then you can go somewhere else. Pretty much. I think that was like oh, okay. Well, I better listen and do what I need to do so I can play.
And obviously, your career, like you came on strong your freshman, sophomore year, and you really took off your junior and senior year. How much did it mean to you to stay for those 4 years and to really invest in the program? And everybody there, I think, invested in you.
I mean, it meant everything. I mean, I never thought about really being a 1 year, 2 year guy, then going to the league anyway. So, my biggest thing, my mom always wanted me to get my degree. So, like, that was big on my mind. And then, as much as Coach Self, all of them invested in me and want me to be great, it made me stay. I talks about even after my junior year. But I had a terrible game when we lost to Oregon. So like that played a big part in. I owe this school, I owe this program a lot. I don't want to leave, with bad thoughts in my head. I don't want to leave with bad thoughts.
Yeah, for sure. No, that locker room afterwards, that was one of the more somber environments I've ever been in. Obviously, it's Frank's last game, Landon's last game, Tyler's last game. Like those guys had put so much into this program, and to see them sad and down after that loss, that for me personally, that did a lot for my outlook on basketball and my outlook on how much these guys really care about Kansas and care about the guys around them, the coaches. So I think you're absolutely spot on with saying that game impacted a lot of decisions for a lot of people.
And I think too that like that's kind of the common theme with Kansas basketball. Like you look at when we won the national championship. I mean, our 2021 year was just awful. I mean, awful. And like everyone who came back, they came back for the sole reason that yeah, they felt like they let the university down. And I think that would you say that that fueled you? I mean, you already said it fueled you for the next 2018 year, but the next 2018 year, I mean, that was hard year. Like that really the first part of the year, people were talking about us being the worst Kansas team that they put on the floor in so long. What was that kind of the motivating factor to like keep playing? I mean, yeah, we lost 3 games, and they're sitting there talking about we're the worst team to ever step foot on court. Like people calling for Coach Self's head, and then yeah, going to the Final Four. But yeah, let me hear your thoughts on that.
I mean, bro, it was definitely a struggle at first. I mean, I remember Coach Self was telling me, "Oh, the worst team." Like I can't believe, it was crazy. Uh, I don't know. I told the story before, but I don't know if y'all remember. We was at practice and it looked so bad. Like I was so bad. I just the other end of the court and I was crying. Like and coach walked down there and to me, it was like, bro, what's wrong, bro? This shit is bad. We don't know what we're doing. Nobody cares. Like everything about Kansas, you gotta care. Like everybody say, you rip open a J gonna fly out. Like you gotta have that care about the program, the fans, and stuff like that. We didn't have energy, so I was just real frustrated. But it ended up being
No, good. You're good.
okay. Ended up being obviously we turned that joint around 3 degrees. Like nobody expected us to win it 14 straight. Nobody expected Final Four, and it ended up being one of my best years.
And that's kind of where I was getting at with that question. I was going to follow up with what do you thought the turning point was. I remember that practice very vividly. We're going to go play Texas. I can't remember if it's down at Texas or we're playing Texas at home. I think it was down at Texas, and yeah, it was like over Christmas break. And I saw you go to the other side of that court, and that's kind of when like the light. I mean, you can say Doak's head, like the light kind of turned on in Doak's head. The light turned on for like Marcus Garrett. Malik started playing really great. Like obviously not right away, but it did change kind of the outlook that our team had. Where it's like, okay, our best players sitting there and kind of questioning us as a team. Like, what are we going to do? Are we all going to scatter, or are we all going to get fist tight. And I mean, we went out there, and every grimy game you could possibly win after that was we got
fun.
it. Yeah,
We had to. Yeah.
had to.
We definitely turned that shit around, man. It was great to see. Feel me? Because it would have been terrible to go out bad like that my senior year. So I loved every moment of it.
For playing in a Final Four, like most people don't understand how serious that is. When it comes to a Final Four, there's 70,000 people there. What's it like playing in a football stadium full of people? Like, what's that environment like?
I mean, you can't even describe it, bro. That job was unbelievable. And it's crazy that it was in San Antonio and now I'm here in San Antonio, which is ironic. But, your nerves is just running wild. You're excited. Can't sleep before the night before the game. Then you run out the tunnel. It's like nothing you've ever seen when you see all the KU fans. It was, you feel me? You really can't describe it unless you're really running out that tunnel to that crowd. So, I mean,
it gives me like a newfound respect for college football and NFL players. Like,
yeah,
70,000 players, like 70,000 people there. Like, makes
everything.
I don't feel that was as special. Don't get me wrong, but there's 16,000 people in there. Like
Right.
we were in the Alamo Dome. There's 75,000, 80,000 people in there. It's a little bit different, which is super special.
Just a little bit.
A tiny bit.
When you in Allen, it feels like it's like 75,000.
Yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth.
It gets as loud. Yeah, it gets as loud as 100. But DT, so you obviously our Final Four game that year didn't go the way it planned. That game doesn't count anyways anymore, so that never happened. Don't have to worry about that one. But would you take the Final Four game against Villanova or our win at Texas Tech to kind of like you make that shot? That's really to clinch 14 straight. Was that your favorite? Like, was that your favorite game at Kansas?
Wait, you said would I take?
What was your favorite game at Kansas?
Would you go back and relive the Final Four again, or would you go back and relive the Texas Tech?
I mean, really not relive that game again. We were down 20 at halftime. I'm gonna go with Tech winning 14 for sure. Favorite game though was against Buddy Hield and them with triple overtime.
Yeah,
at house. Oh yeah.
Talk about that game a little bit. Hey, Buddy was going crazy. We still ended up getting a win. Like, I don't know, like there's not a lot of teams that can get a win when a guy in the other team has 46 points. Like
no other team.
Buddy was going berserk, unstoppable. But I mean, basically number one versus number one, because we were number one in one poll and they was number one in another poll, and that was just like an instant clash. Like everybody was playing well. Both teams making clutch shots, clutch free throws, and obviously down the stretch we get the game winning stop. Frank get that steal. So I mean, that game and the comeback thing is like right there. I don't know which one to pick, but them two definitely my favorite at the field house.
In my eyes, like I said, the West Virginia game because I was there. I had a front row to that thing.
Yeah.
Between the legs, pull up. We were down, coming back in the second half, man.
Crazy.
Place was jumping. It was the loudest indoor arena ever. Guinness Book of World Records. Like
that's when we set the record. That game, I think.
Yeah, it was. Like couldn't hear yourself think. Like crazy.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you, what was Coach Self saying at halftime of the OU game and Buddy's going crazy? Like, is it more of like all right, this guy's having a crazy game, or like, what the hell, can you guys not guard this guy? Like, what does he say at halftime?
A little bit of both, but he challenged. He's gonna challenge us to every time. Like, you can't guard this guy. All right, who we gonna put on this guy? Like, he'll look at KT and be like, who do you think we're gonna? Who can guard this guy? So that's what he was on. Like, he was trying to challenge us defensively, and it was nobody who was really guarding him. Frank did a pretty good job, but I mean, he still had 46.
It's crazy.
Think about Coach Self. Like, Jesus could be down on the basketball court, and he could be 20 for 20 from three, like just literally supernatural power. And he'd come to the locker room and be like, "We have nobody who can guard this guy. Seriously, we have a bunch of soft dudes."
What the hell are you guys doing? You can't guard him?
You're right. Exactly.
Devonte, speaking of Coach Self, I wanted to ask you, what is your thoughts on playing for Coach Self and then going and playing for Coach Popovich? Like, what are the similarities? What are the differences? And obviously, how do you enjoy playing for Coach Pop?
Man, they're super similar. Like they both are on you. They want what's best for you, like, but on you hard, like to a point where you can't do nothing but respect it. And they actually like they care like about their players and like what's going on in your life. And like it's more than basketball. Like every day we walk in, Pop, he got something on the board, that's not basketball related. Like something that's about the world or something that's about what you should be doing in your life, which builds you together. And I think Coach Self does that in his own way as well. Um, where he give his quotes about things that's bigger than basketball, bigger than your whatever the case may be. So, but they're on you hard, and like you're supposed to go to the free throw line and V line back out. Like he makes sure you touch that free throw line before you go out. Like that's how him and Coach Self are. So I think they both very similar.
What were some things that Coach Self taught you at Kansas that you really keep with you today? Like even when you weren't playing on the Spurs, I know Coach and Pop are really, really similar. But like when you got to Charlotte, what were certain things that you learned from Coach Self where you're like, okay, these are things I got to keep in my mind to make sure that you have the career you have right now. I mean, you really dogged it out. So what were those kind of things?
I mean, he used to always say, like I smile, but like in my heart, like I'm a killer type shit. So I would I always keep that. Like I've always been like smiley, go lucky. I'm always happy, but you gotta have that killer instinct. Um, and it's not about you. That's a big one. I just said that. It's not about you. It's always about the person to the right of you. So like just making sure everybody around me is good, whether that's with family or whether that's with my teammates, and just trying to make everybody better. Um, and I feel like if everybody making everybody better, then I'm getting better. So that's what I try to